Imagine you're 50 years old. You've given your whole life to your family. You stayed home while everyone else left to chase dreams. You changed bed sheets for sick parents, cooked meals when no one else would, fixed leaks in the roof at midnight so the house wouldn't fall apart. You never got married, never had kids, because someone had to stay. That someone was you. And now, your own brother and sister look at you like you're empty, like all those years meant nothing. They sit across the kitchen table, smiling small, cold smiles, already counting money that isn't theirs yet. They whisper when they think you can't hear, "She has nothing left to fight with." They really believe it. They think the battle is over. They think they've already won. But what if the person they pushed aside the most still holds the one secret that can turn everything upside down? Welcome to today's powerful story. Siblings thought I had nothing left to fight with. The day the old lawyer read the real clause, and if you love stories full of family secrets, heartbreaking betrayal, shocking twists, and that sweet moment when justice finally arrives, hit that subscribe button right now, turn on notifications, and join our family channel. More parts drop soon. You won't want to miss what happens next. My name is Emma Thompson. I just turned 50 last spring. No big party, no fancy dinner, just me, a cup of chamomile tea, and the same creaky porch swing I've sat on since I was a little girl. The old house in Willow Creek still smells like lemon polish and memories. This house was everything to Mom and Dad. Dad built half the walls with his own hands. Mom planted the rose bushes out front that still bloom every June like they're saying hello. When Dad got cancer, I drove him to every chemo appointment, 3 hours each way. I held the vomit bag when he couldn't make it to the bathroom. I told him stories from when I was small so he'd smile through the pain. When Mom's mind started slipping away, I was the one who reminded her who I was every morning. "It's me, Mom, Emma, your girl." Some days she remembered, most days she didn't, but I kept saying it anyway, because love doesn't stop just because someone forgets. Richard, my big brother, moved to Chicago 25 years ago. Good job, big house, 2 kids in private school. He sent photos at Christmas. Laura, my little sister, went to California chasing acting dreams. She ended up selling million-dollar homes instead. Both of them called once a month, if I was lucky. Both sent checks sometimes, like that made up for never being here. When Dad died, they flew in for 3 days. When Mom died 2 years later, they stayed 4. Both times they asked the same thing in different ways. "So, what's in the will, Emma?" There was a will. Mom and Dad made it years ago. They told me once, late at night when the house was quiet, "Everything will be fair, honey. Don't you worry." I believed them. After the funeral, the calls changed. First polite, then sharp. "Emma, we really need to talk about the house. Emma, it's not fair you stay there alone. Emma, we have families too. We deserve our share." They stopped asking how I was doing. They stopped saying thank you for the 27 years I gave up. They just saw the house, the land, the small savings account, and they saw me, plain sweater, tired eyes, same old blue truck in the driveway, and decided I was finished, used up, done. They truly thought I had no fight left. They were so sure they started making plans without me. But life has a funny way of hiding things in plain sight. One rainy Tuesday morning, the mailbox creaked open. Inside was a plain white envelope, no fancy logo, just a return address I hadn't seen in almost 10 years. Hargrove and Sons, attorneys at law. Mr. Hargrove, the quiet old lawyer who used to come for coffee with Dad every Christmas, was reaching out, and he had something to say, something nobody expected. I sat at the kitchen table, hands shaking, staring at that envelope. My heart beat so loud I could hear it in my ears, because deep down, I felt it. Something was coming, something big, and my brother and sister, they had no idea. The envelope sat on the kitchen table for almost an hour before I could bring myself to open it. My hands felt like ice. My untouched coffee had turned cold and bitter, just like the fear twisting inside my chest. Every time my fingers brushed the paper, my stomach lurched, the same sick feeling I used to get as a kid, waiting for the teacher to call my name after something went wrong. I finally tore it open, careful, like it might bite. One single sheet, typewriter letters, crisp and old school. At the bottom, Mr. Hargrove's familiar shaky signature, still bold, still him. "Dear Emma, I hope this finds you in good health, though I suspect these past years have not been kind. Your father was one of my dearest friends. He trusted me with something very important many years ago, something he asked me never to speak of unless the time was exactly right. That time has come. Please call my office as soon as you are able. There are matters in your parents' will that were never properly explained to anyone, including your brother and sister. I will be in the office all week. Come alone if you can. With warm regards, Harold Hargrove. My heart hit my ribs like it was trying to escape my body. Alone. He didn't write that word by accident. I read it again and again, hoping the letters would rearrange themselves into something safe and ordinary. They didn't. Instead, old memories flooded in, so clear they hurt. Christmas Eves when I was small, Mr. Hargrove at our door with his little red-ribboned box of shortbread, Dad pouring whiskey, the fire crackling, the men talking low while Mom sang softly in the kitchen. I once overheard Dad whisper, "Harold, if I go first, promise me you'll look after Emma. She's the glue in this family. The others, they'll fly away, but she'll stay." I was only 10. I didn't understand then. Now, the words felt like a warm hand on my shoulder after years of feeling invisible. My fingers shook so badly I almost dropped the phone when I dialed. It rang twice. Harold Hargrove speaking. His voice, older, rougher around the edges, but still gentle, like a blanket on a freezing night. "Mr. Hargrove, it's Emma Thompson." A long silence, then a quiet exhale, almost like he'd been holding his breath for years. "Emma, my dear girl, thank God you called so soon. I've carried this weight too long." My throat closed up. "What is this about? The will?" He paused again, longer this time. When he spoke, his voice was quieter, careful. "There's a clause, Emma, one your parents added quietly years ago, right after you chose to stay home and take care of them both. Richard and Laura only ever heard the basic version, the one that sounded fair on paper. The real one, the complete one, has been sealed in my office safe since 2015. No one else has seen it." My lungs forgot how to work. "Sealed?" "Yes, and it changes everything you've been told." I gripped the phone tighter, knuckles white. "Changes how?" "I can't lay it all out over the phone, child. Some truths need eyes on paper, face to face. But hear me now. Your parents saw your sacrifice. Every sleepless night, every doctor visit, every time you smiled and said, 'I'm fine,' when you weren't. They made sure no one could steal what you earned with your heart." Tears burned down my cheeks before I could stop them. I hadn't let myself cry like this since we buried Mom. Now it poured out. Grief, hope, anger, all mixed together. "When can I come?" my voice cracked. "Tomorrow morning, 10 sharp, same little brick office on Maple Street. Come alone, Emma. Bring only yourself. And one more thing." "Yes?" "Don't breathe a word to Richard or Laura. Not yet. Not until you know the whole truth." I nodded into the empty kitchen. "I won't." We hung up. I set the phone down like it might explode. Rain drummed harder on the roof. My pulse thundered in my ears. Richard and Laura were already dividing the house in their minds. Who got the living room furniture, who sold the land, how much cash each would walk away with. They pictured me packing boxes, fading away, defeated. They had no clue. The night after Mr. Hargrove's call felt endless. I couldn't sleep. I lay in the same bed I'd slept in since I was 18, staring at the ceiling cracks that looked like lightning frozen in time. My mind raced between two worlds, the one where Richard and Laura were right, I was used up, nothing left to give or fight for, and the one Mr. Hargrove's voice had cracked open, whispering that maybe, just maybe, my parents had seen me all along. I kept replaying his words like a broken record. A clause, added quietly, changes everything you've been told. What could that mean? A bigger share for me? Protection for the house? Or something bigger? Something that would make my brother and sister stop smiling those tight, greedy smiles. By morning, my eyes were puffy, my head heavy, but I showered, put on my best clean sweater, the soft gray one Mom always said made me look put together, and drove the 20 minutes to Maple Street. Hargrove and Sons was still the same tiny brick building squeezed between a bakery and a hardware store. The gold letters on the window were faded, but the place felt safe, like stepping back into a memory. Mr. Hargrove met me at the door himself. He looked smaller than I remembered, thin white hair, thick glasses, hands spotted with age, but his eyes were sharp and kind. "Emma," he said, voice cracking just a little. "Come in, child, come in." He led me to the back office. Same dark wood desk, same shelves full of dusty law books, same smell of old paper and coffee. He motioned for me to sit in the leather chair that still had the faint imprint of my father's shape from years of visits. He didn't waste time with small talk. "I promised your father I'd wait until the right moment," he began. "He said you'd know when it was time, and after what Richard and Laura have been saying, pushing you, I knew the moment had arrived." He pulled a thick folder from the safe behind his desk, the kind with a metal clasp and a red wax seal that had cracked long ago. He set it between us like it was made of glass. "This is the original will," he said quietly, dated June 12, 2014. The one everyone else saw was a simplified copy I prepared later, the public version, so to speak. My mouth went dry. "Why two versions?" "Because your parents wanted to protect you, Emma. They knew Richard would chase money. They knew Laura would charm her way into whatever she wanted. They also knew you would never ask for anything. So they wrote something extra, a clause, a condition, hidden in plain sight if you knew where to look." He opened the folder. I caught a glimpse of their signatures, Dad's strong block letters, Mom's careful cursive, and my chest tightened so hard I could barely breathe. "The clause says," he paused, letting the words hang, "it says the house, the land, and the bulk of their savings cannot be sold, divided, or transferred unless certain conditions are met, conditions that involve you." My heart jumped. "Conditions?" He nodded slowly. "Conditions your brother and sister have no idea exist. Conditions that make their claims very fragile." I leaned forward, hands clasped so tight my nails dug into my palms. "What conditions, Mr. Hargrove? Please, I need to know." He looked at me over his glasses, eyes soft but serious. "Not all at once, Emma. Some things have to unfold properly. But I will tell you this much today. The clause protects the person who stayed, the person who sacrificed. It doesn't just give you a share, it gives you control." Control. The word landed like a stone in still water, sending ripples through every tired, broken part of me. Richard and Laura thought they could walk in, wave papers, and take it all. They thought I had no fight because I never raised my voice, never demanded thanks. They were wrong. Mr. Hargrove closed the folder gently. "I've scheduled the official reading for next week. All three of you will be there. They'll hear the simple version first, then I'll read the real one." My stomach flipped. "They'll be furious." "They might be," he agreed, "but truth has a way of standing tall even when people shout." He reached across the desk and patted my hand, the same way Dad used to when I was scared. "You're not empty, Emma. You never were. Your parents made sure the world would see that." I left his office feeling lighter and heavier at the same time. The drive home blurred through tears I didn't bother wiping away. Next week, the truth would come out. Richard and Laura would sit in that same conference room, confident, ready to claim what they thought was theirs. They had no clue the ground under them was about to shift, and when the old lawyer read the real clause, everything they believed would shatter.
The day of the will reading arrived like a storm nobody wanted to admit was coming. I woke before dawn. The house felt too quiet. No birds yet, no wind, just the old floorboards creaking under my feet as I made coffee I wouldn't drink. My hands shook when I buttoned my blouse. I chose the navy one Mom bought me for Dad's funeral. It still smelled faintly of her lavender soap. I arrived at Hargrove & Sons 15 minutes early. The small waiting room had 3 chairs and a tired ficus plant. I sat alone, clutching my purse like a shield. Then they walked in. Richard first. Tall, polished suit, expensive watch glinting under the fluorescent light. He gave me a quick nod, the kind you give a stranger in an elevator. Laura followed, heels clicking, designer bag swinging, perfume filling the tiny space. She flashed a tight smile. "Hey sis, looking rested." They sat across from me. Richard crossed his legs, Laura scrolled her phone. Neither asked how I was. Neither said they were sorry for the years of distance. They just waited, like this was a business meeting and they already knew the outcome. Mr. Hargrove appeared at exactly 10. He carried the thick folder from last week, plus a small wooden box I hadn't seen before. His face was calm, but his eyes flicked to me with a quiet strength. "Good morning, everyone," he said softly. "Please come through." We filed into the conference room. Same long table, same smell of old books and lemon cleaner. Richard took the head seat without asking. Laura sat beside him. I chose the chair farthest from them, closer to Mr. Hargrove. He cleared his throat. "Before we begin, I want to remind you all that your parents prepared this document with great care. They loved you each in their own way. What I'm about to read is the complete and final will, the original, unaltered version from 2014. Richard leaned forward slightly. "We've seen copies. Everything's split 3 ways, right? House sells, proceeds divided equally." Mr. Hargrove met his eyes. "Not quite." Laura laughed, short, nervous. "Come on, Mr. Hargrove, we're all adults here. Let's not drag this out." He opened the folder. The room went so quiet I could hear my own heartbeat. "First, the basic provisions," he began. "The personal items, jewelry, furniture, vehicles, are divided as listed. Small bequests to charities your mother favored. Then the savings account, approximately $120,000 to be split equally among the 3 children after taxes and fees." Richard nodded, satisfied. Laura relaxed a fraction. "But," Mr. Hargrove continued, voice steady, "the primary residence and surrounding land shall not be sold, partitioned, or transferred for a period of no less than 25 years from the date of the last surviving parent's death, unless the following condition is met. The child who has provided continuous primary care and residency for both parents during their final illnesses shall retain sole decision-making authority over the property, including the right to reside there indefinitely, and to veto any sale or division." Silence hit the room like a slap. Laura's phone slipped from her fingers onto the table. Richard's face went blank, then red. That can't be legal. We all have rights." Mr. Hargrove looked directly at him. "It is legal. Your parents had every right to attach conditions. They did so with witnesses, notarized, and properly executed. Emma has lived in the home continuously. She provided the care. The clause names no names, but the facts fit only one person." I stared at the table, tears blurring the wood grain. Not from sadness, from something bigger. Relief, anger, love, all crashing together. Laura's voice cracked. "So what? She gets everything? We get nothing?" Mr. Hargrove shook his head gently. "Not nothing. You each receive your equal share of the liquid assets, as stated. But the house, the heart of your parents' legacy, stays under Emma's protection, for now and for as long as she chooses." Richard slammed his palm on the table. "This is ridiculous. We'll contest it." Mr. Hargrove closed the folder with finality. "You're welcome to try, but I drafted this myself. I watched your father sign it with tears in his eyes. He said, 'Harold, make sure the one who stayed never loses what she gave her life for.'" The room felt smaller. Laura stared at me like she was seeing me for the first time. Richard's jaw worked, but no words came. I finally looked up. My voice was quiet but steady. "I never wanted to take anything from you. I just wanted to keep the home where we grew up, where Mom laughed, where Dad taught me to fix a leaky faucet. If you fight this, you're fighting them, not me." No one answered. Mr. Hargrove stood. "That concludes the reading. Copies will be mailed to each of you. Emma, the original remains in my safe until you decide what to do next." As we stood to leave, Laura whispered, "You planned this." I met her eyes. "No, Mom and Dad did." Richard stormed out first. Laura followed, heels slower now, uncertain. I stayed behind. Mr. Hargrove handed me the small wooden box. "Your father left this for you. He said to open it when the time was right." Inside was a single key, the old brass one to the front door, tied with a faded red ribbon, and a note in Dad's handwriting. "Emma girl, you held us together. Now hold the home. We're proud, always." I pressed the key to my lips. Tears fell freely. The fight wasn't over, but for the first time in years, I didn't feel alone.
The conference room door hadn't even closed behind Richard before the explosion started. He spun around, face purple, finger jabbing toward Mr. Hargrove like a weapon. "This is a joke, a setup. You're telling me one person who never worked a real job gets to lock up the family home forever? Laura was already on her feet, voice high and shaking. 25 years? She could live another 40. That means we wait until she's gone before we see a dime from the property? No way. This is coercion, emotional blackmail. Mr. Hargrove stayed calm, hands folded on the folder. It's not coercion, Laura. It's your parents' clear wish. They wrote it, they signed it. 2 witnesses, neighbors you both know, watched them do it. Richard laughed, bitter, ugly. Then we can test it. Undue influence. Emma was living there full time. She pressured them when they were weak. The words hit me like a slap. I felt heat rush to my face, but I didn't shout. I just looked at him, really looked, and saw the stranger he'd become. Mr. Hargrove's voice cut through. You can file a contest, Richard. You're entitled. But I'll warn you now, the will is ironclad. Medical records show your parents were of sound mind until the very end. No dementia diagnosis for your father. Your mother's early Alzheimer's was documented, but the clause was added years before any decline. And influence? The only influence was love. Emma never asked for this. She never even knew it existed until last week. Laura grabbed her phone, fingers flying. I'm calling my attorney right now, someone in LA who handles big estates. This won't stand. Richard paced, breathing hard. We'll get appraisals, prove the house is worth more split, force a sale. Courts hate these kinds of restrictions. They'll side with equal division. I finally spoke. My voice was low, but it carried. You're fighting Mom and Dad, not me. They watched me give up my 20s, 30s, 40s. No vacations, no dates, no dreams outside these walls. They saw Richard build his empire in Chicago. They saw Laura close million-dollar deals in California. And they decided on their own that the one who stayed deserved to keep staying. Laura's eyes filled with tears, but they weren't sad tears. They were angry, humiliated. You think you're some saint? You stayed because you wanted to. You liked being the martyr. The room went dead quiet. I stood up slowly. I stayed because someone had to hold their hands when they were scared, wiped their faces when they couldn't, sing to them when the pain got too loud. If that makes me a martyr, then I'll wear it proudly. Richard stopped pacing. His shoulders dropped a fraction. He looked at the floor, then at me. For 1 second, I saw the big brother who used to carry me on his shoulders. Then the mask came back. We're not done. This isn't over. Laura snatched her bag. We'll see you in court, Emma. They left without another word. The door slammed behind them. Mr. Hargrove sighed. They'll try. They'll spend thousands on lawyers. They'll drag this out for months, maybe years. But they'll lose, and deep down, I think they know it. I sat back down, legs weak. Tears came again, not from fear this time, from release. From knowing the house wasn't just bricks and memories anymore. It was proof. Proof that love doesn't vanish when someone stops calling. Proof that sacrifice isn't invisible. Mr. Hargrove slid the small wooden box back toward me. Your father wanted you to have this after the storm passed. Open it when you're ready. I lifted the lid again. Besides the key, there was a second note, Mom's handwriting this time. Emma, our girl, if you're reading this, the truth is out. We're sorry we couldn't say it sooner. We were afraid you'd refuse it. But you earned every wall, every rosebush, every quiet night. Live there. Fill it with your own laughter someday. We love you bigger than the sky. Forever, Mom and Dad. I folded the note against my chest. The panic in the air was theirs now, not mine. They could fight, they could scream, they could hire every lawyer in 2 states, but the clause was iron. The house was safe. And for the first time in my life, I felt like I had something worth defending, something no one could take. Weeks turned into months after the reading. Richard and Laura didn't waste time. They hired lawyers, sharp ones with big city offices and bigger bills. Letters arrived in my mailbox like angry hornets, demands for mediation, threats of court dates, claims of unfair restraint of property. Each one made my stomach twist, but I didn't open them alone anymore. Mr. Hargrove reviewed every page, his steady voice reminding me, they're loud because they're losing. Truth doesn't shout, it stands. The first mediation was in a sterile conference room in the county courthouse. Richard wore the same expensive suit, but the shine was gone. Laura's makeup couldn't hide the shadows under her eyes. They sat on one side of the long table, I sat on the other with Mr. Hargrove. Their lawyer, a slick man named Daniels, started strong. This clause creates an unreasonable burden. It violates equal inheritance principles. My clients are willing to settle for a fair buyout, market value split 3 ways. Mr. Hargrove smiled, small, polite, unbreakable. Market value today is $1.2 million. Your clients want $400,000 each now, correct? Daniels nodded. Then let me read from the clause again. Sole decision-making authority, including the right to veto any sale or division. Emma has vetoed. End of discussion. Richard leaned forward, voice raw and low. Emma, come on, we're family. Don't do this. Sell it. We all walk away with enough to start over. I looked at him, really looked. The boy who once taught me to ride a bike was buried under years of distance and greed, but I still saw flickers of him. I'm not doing this to hurt you, I said quietly. I'm doing it to keep what Mom and Dad wanted kept. You both left. You built lives somewhere else. This house is the only place I've ever really belonged. If I sell it now, I lose the only thing that still feels like home. Laura's lip trembled. You think we don't miss them too? You think we don't feel guilty? The room went still. For the first time, I heard real pain in her voice, not just anger. I reached into my bag and pulled out 2 envelopes, copies of Mom and Dad's notes from the wooden box. I slid them across the table. Read these, I said. Not the legal stuff, the real stuff. They wrote them for all of us, but especially for the day we fought. Richard opened his first. His face changed as he read Dad's words. Richard, you were always the dreamer. Chase it hard, but don't forget where you came from. The door's always open. Laura read Mom's. Laura, my bright girl, shine wherever you go, but come home sometimes. We miss your laugh. They sat in silence. Daniels cleared his throat. This doesn't change. Richard held up a hand. It changes everything. He looked at me, eyes wet, voice broken. I'm sorry, Em. We got lost in the numbers, in what we thought we deserved. Laura wiped her face. We'll drop the contest. We just want maybe visitation rights, holidays, so the house isn't a wall between us. I nodded slowly. I'd like that. The house isn't a prize to fight over, it's a place to come back to. Mr. Hargrove stood. I'll prepare the dismissal papers. No further claims on the property. Liquid assets already divided. Checks are ready. We didn't hug, not yet, but when Richard and Laura left, they walked slower. No storming out, no slammed doors, just 2 people carrying a little less weight. I drove home alone that afternoon. The rose bushes were in full bloom, Mom's June miracle. I sat on the porch swing, key in my hand, notes in my lap. The house was mine, not just the deed. The quiet mornings, the creaky stairs, the smell of lemon polish that still lingered like a hug. The assets, the savings share, the small life insurance payout, were returned to me in full as the clause protected. But the real victory wasn't money or paper. It was the moment I realized I hadn't been invisible. Mom and Dad had seen every quiet sacrifice. They'd written it into forever. I whispered to the empty yard, "Thank you." The wind answered with the soft rustle of leaves, and for the first time in decades, the house felt full again. Not of people yet, but of peace.
Months after the lawyers backed off and the papers were signed, the house felt different. Not bad different, deeper, like it was breathing again after holding its breath for too long. I started going through boxes in the attic, old photo albums, Dad's fishing rods, Mom's recipe cards yellowed with time. One rainy afternoon, I found a small leather journal tucked behind a stack of Christmas decorations. No name on the cover, just a faint embossed rose, the same one Mom planted out front. I opened it carefully. Dad's handwriting filled the pages, neat, thoughtful entries from the 1980s and 90s. Most were simple. Emma helped me roof the shed today. She's stronger than she knows. Laura called from college. Sounded happy. Miss her laugh. Richard sent money again.
Wish he'd send himself. Then I reached the last few pages, dated just before they added the clause. Harold came by tonight. We talked about the will. I told him the whole story, the one my grandfather told me on his deathbed. The family curse. He laughed at first, said it was superstition, but I saw his eyes. He believed it more than he admitted. My hands went cold. Dad wrote, "Back in 1892, great-grandfather Elias Thompson lost his wife and 2 sons in a house fire on this very land. He blamed himself, said he ignored warnings from an old woman in town who told him the roses would protect the house if tended with love, but never with greed. He replanted them anyway, angry, vowing the house would stay in the family forever, but only for the one who stayed true. Anyone who tried to sell or divide it for profit, the roses would wilt, the walls would crack, and misfortune would follow until the land was whole again. Superstition? Maybe. But Elias died broke and alone 6 months later. His only surviving daughter kept the house. She never married, never sold. The roses bloomed every year after that." I turned the page. Dad's words grew shakier. "When the kids were small, I laughed it off too, but after the cancer, after watching Emma give up everything without a single complaint, I started believing again. Not because I'm scared of curses, because I'm scared of breaking what love built. So we wrote the clause, not just to protect Emma, to protect the house from us, from greed. If Richard or Laura ever force a sale, the legend says the curse wakes. Roses die, misfortune comes. I pray they never test it." I closed the journal. My heart pounded so loud, the rain outside sounded quiet. I walked downstairs, through the kitchen, out to the porch. The rose bushes stood tall, petals bright red against the gray sky. I touched one bloom. It felt warm, alive, almost like it knew I was there. That night, I dreamed of great-grandfather Elias. He stood in the yard, old and tired, pointing at the roses. "Keep them with love," he said, "or lose everything." I woke up sweating, but not afraid. Calm, like the house itself had whispered, "You're safe. You stayed." The next morning, I called Mr. Hargrove. "I found Dad's journal," I told him, "the real reason for the clause." He was quiet a long time. "I knew," he said. "Your father told me the legend the night we drafted it. He said, 'Harold, make it legal so the curse never has to prove itself.' I thought it was a sweet story. Now, I'm not so sure." I hung up and sat on the porch swing. The roses swayed gently, no wind needed. Richard and Laura hadn't called in weeks. Maybe they were healing. Maybe they were waiting. Maybe, somewhere deep down, they felt the same pull I did. The house wasn't just mine now. It was ours. The whole line of Thompsons who chose love over leaving. And if the legend was true, it would protect itself. I smiled at the roses. "I'll tend you with love, always." The petals seemed to nod. And in that quiet moment, I understood the twist nobody saw coming. The clause wasn't just law. It was legacy. It was protection. It was a curse turned into a blessing for anyone brave enough to stay. The end. Or maybe just the beginning. Years passed quietly after the roses reclaimed their full bloom. The house on Willow Creek Road stood stronger than ever. Paint fresh every spring, roof patched before winter, porch swing oiled so it never squeaked. I tended the roses like a promise kept, pruning with care, watering at dawn, whispering thanks to the soil that held my family's story. Richard came back first, one Thanksgiving, unannounced. He stood at the gate, hands in pockets, looking smaller than I remembered. No suit, just jeans and a worn jacket. "I brought pie," he said, holding up a store-bought box like it was proof he remembered something. We ate on the porch, talked about Dad's bad jokes, Mom's secret chocolate cake recipe. He cried when he saw the old photo of us 3 kids in the yard, arms around each other. "I was wrong," he whispered, "about a lot." I hugged him, the first real hug in decades. It felt like coming home for both of us. Laura followed the next summer. She brought her daughter, little Mia, 6 years old, eyes wide and curious. Mia ran straight to the roses, nose buried in petals. "Mommy, they smell like magic!" Laura watched her, tears shining. "I never told her about this place," she said. "I was too busy running." We sat in the kitchen that night, Mia asleep on the couch. Laura opened up about failed auditions, broken relationships, the emptiness money couldn't fill. "I thought leaving meant winning," she said. I took her hand. Coming back means winning too. The house filled again. Not every day, but often enough. Holidays, birthdays, random weekends when someone needed quiet. Laughter echoed off walls that once held only silence. The roses never wilted, not once. Sometimes at dusk, I'd sit with Dad's journal open on my lap. I'd read the curse legend aloud to the empty room, smiling now instead of shivering. It wasn't a curse anymore. It was a guardian, a reminder that greed breaks things, but love, patient, stubborn love, holds them together. One evening, as the sun dipped low and painted the sky pink and gold, I walked the yard alone. The roses glowed in the light. I touched a bloom and felt a quiet certainty settle in my chest. This house wasn't just walls and memories, it was a heartbeat. It was proof that staying doesn't mean losing, it means becoming the root everything else grows from. I looked up at the sky and whispered, "Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad." I kept my promise. A soft breeze answered, carrying the scent of roses across the lawn. And in that moment, I knew the story wasn't ending. It was blooming again, brighter, fuller for whoever came next.